Fox and Foxettes, how the devil are we? It's a good evening for me. It's a good evening for Mini-Me there. What are we doing tonight? We're not normally here on a Sunday, but look, what else have you got to do? You can watch One Man and His Dog on TV or Antiques Roadshow, or instead of watching Wales, you can listen to us talking about Wales, because we've got this coming up on Tuesday. It's the third round of the Carabao Cup. We are hosting some insignificant Welsh team from one of the lower divisions. They happened to luckily beat us in a few years ago, and they've lived off it ever since. Yeah, you know what I mean. This is Leicester Till I Die DV, and it's the Leicester City Newport preview.
It's time! Strap yourself in, because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts. Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
And now, here's your host.
All right, Chris.
All right there, how the devil are we all? Welcome along. Yep, it's the third round Carabao Cup time. I like the third round of the Carabao Cup because it gives these smaller clubs the chance to have a big day out. Like when we went to Wembley to play Chelsea in the FA Cup, this is their equivalent. So it's nice to give them a bit of a big payday, isn't it? Anyway, I've got a guest on. He is a huge Cardiff fan. Let's bring him in. Mike, how are you, sir?
Yeah, not a huge Cardiff fan, people, before Chris chose to...
Swansea, that's it, Swansea.
Well, I prefer Swansea to Cardiff, but closer towards Bristol way, Newport. But, I'm really good, mate. Looking forward to Tuesday night. We're in, great form, which I'm sure we'll talk about later on. Really looking forward to it, and thanks for getting me on for the preview.
No. It's good to have you on. I think this is one of your fellow fans, Fit Finley. Will be a close match. I think it depends on the team we put out. Andrew is in. I thought you would be in the jungle. I know. I look like I should be in the jungle. If I take this off, I'm covered in hair. But no, I'm not. I'm not actually out there. Although, to be honest with you, if you give me £600,000 like Matt Hancock, I'll bloody go. I'll tell you. Can I just say, by the way, I don't know whether you are a Matt Hancock fan or not. Don't not vote him out. Keep him in and just vote to do every single trial. Right? That's what you've got to do. That's what you've got to do. You download the app. I think you get 5 free votes on the app. Make sure you use those to get Matt Hancock to do the trials. You can't let him get away with it. But no,
that show's gone downhill anyway. They say you're going to eat slugs' brains, but it's just jelly. They've made it like you can.
I don't know what you eat in Wales. I'm going to be honest with you, but over here we don't eat that sort of thing. But hey, all joking aside, I think we both go into this match in a bit of form. I think we'd have probably wanted to play each other maybe a month or so ago. But you got a ticket, you're going.
Yeah. Look, really excited for it. Obviously, I've not ticked off the King Power yet, so it's going to be nice to obviously tick that off first of all. And also, I've only missed one cup game in all the cup games we've had so far this season. That was the Papa John's, so I'm glad I didn't go to that, to be honest. It's an awful competition. But I went to Luton away at the start of August in the first round, and we won that. Then Portsmouth at home won that, so it's nice to continue the.
Let me just ask my friend here. Do you know what Papa John's is? Do you know what I've never heard of it. Have we ever played in that? Anyway, so welcome you back. Yeah, but you're on the coach. You go in there, have a safe journey, mate. It'd be a wasted journey, I'm not going to lie, but have a safe one. My daughter's in. Hello, superfan Heather Forian here. Heather, welcome, my love. When are you off to Thailand? And I know, sorry, I've just got a sidetrack here. My daughter is off to Thailand. She is meeting friends out there, but she's traveling on her own. I know you've got a rape alarm, but please go and buy the spray as well. Because, just do it in their eye. If anybody comes within a mile of you, just spray them, okay? And you go on Wednesday, especially if they look like this guy, because they're going to be trouble. Love you, Heather. Really do. Going to miss you. Okay, look, let's get the elephant in the room out the way, because I know you're going to want to talk about it. So we'll talk about it first, and then it has gone. The last time we played, you got a lucky 2-1 win over us. Was it the FA Cup or the League Cup again?
That was the FA Cup, that one.
That was it. And in fairness, I mean, we're going back there to January 19. So we're going back quite... I'm trying to think who was our manager then.
Claude Puel.
Oh, well, say no more.
I think that game got him sacked, if I'm truthfully honest, or the game after.
I think what I remember about it, I think we played that one in January, and we went absolutely mad because he put what everybody was saying at the time was the second string team out. And then I think after that, or just before that, I think it was probably just before. It might have got him sacked, because I think just before that we played in an FA Cup and we put a weak team out and we absolutely went mad. And then we went to Newport and he put a weak team out and we lost. So yeah, we were not happy. But in fairness to you, you went through. Now, according to the papers, young Michael,
yeah,
we played you the once, but they don't call me Sherlock Holmes for nothing, They don't call me Sherlock Holmes. More like Miss Marple, if I'm honest. But actually, I've got the boobs, I tell you. We have actually played each other more than that. Now, that was, say, the 6th of January 2019, and you won 2-1. Fair play to you.
Beautiful day that was, by the way, Chris. Beautiful day. I said that was an excellent day, by the way, that day.
Was it? I don't remember it. I'm sure it blacked out my memory. But we have actually played each other 5 times, including that game. Now, you've won that one, we've drawn 1, and then we've won 3. So I'll just run through these because I'm sure they're fresh in everybody's memory. We actually played you in the FA Cup and got a 0-0 draw on the 10th of January 1920.
I remember it, Chris. I remember it very well.
Yes, I'm surprised you didn't say I did. That was at Newport. We brought you back to what was then presumably Filbert Street. 5 days later, we beat you 2-0. We then beat you in League Division 2. Some of you are still down there, of course. Some of us aren't. On the 9th of November, 1946. And we beat you 3-2. And then, most recently, apart from obviously the FA Cup win, 1947, the 15th of March, we beat you 3-0 in League Division 2 again. So you bring on your one game wins. We've won more than you.
Well, you can have 1947. I'll have 2019.
I am taking 1940. I'm taking 1920, mate. That's how bad it is.
Like I said, I only thought this was the first time that we played you, but like I said, Sherlock Holmes. Thanks.
That's what I had actually been reading, if I'm honest with you.
That's quite funny you mentioned in the 1920 one that the replay was 5 days after. Normally, they give you a bit more of time for that because obviously they wouldn't allow it now. The big teams would start moaning that it's too close. But
we like to have a moan, don't we? We like to have a moan.
Yeah,
Never let it be said that I will not go back into the realms of history to drag out when we last beat a club. Now I was actually looking because, in fairness, now I don't know. We'll talk through your team in a second. But when I'm actually looking at the team that we put out in that, we had Danny Ward in goal, Danny Simpson, Wes Morgan, Johnny Evans, and Christian Fuchs as the back four.
Yeah.
Okay. Hamza Chowdhury, fair enough. Matthew James, he was probably on his way out. We did, in fairness, in our defence, we did have Richie Gazelle on the wing.
He scored your goal, I think. I think he scored your.
I think he did. That was his one goal he ever got for Leicester City.
Because I remember, I think it was. I think Madison came on in the second half. I think Madison hit a shot. Joe Day parried it, and then Rachid Gezel hit a thunderstrike. I think.
Yes. Yeah. I think you got. Yes. You went ahead.
I think Matt scored our goal, I think. And then Amon scored the winning penalty.
Yeah. And which probably wasn't. We should have had, if we'd had VAR, it wouldn't have stood. We also had Shinji Okazaki in there, Mark Albrighton and Kelechi Iheanacho. So actually looking back, it was quite a strong team.
Yeah, I think the main one, I believe Maguire was still there. No, I can't remember, but
no.
I think he was, but when we looked at it, or when me and my friends looked at it when we walked to the ground, we were said, there's some dangerous players in there. Obviously, we know the threat of, Rachid Gazelle. I know obviously wasn't the best at players for Leicester, but we know the sort of player.
Understatement.
Iheanacho was a goal scorer. Even Brighton was, a really good servant for Leicester. Won obviously the Premier League with you, so we knew there was players in there that were dangerous, but we looked at that and weren't feared by it, to be honest.
No, I mean, we had 4 Premier League winners in that team. Our midfield was a bit iffy, but we should have done a lot better, in fairness. But it was, like you say, the last days of the Puel reign. So, but looking at your team, I don't know if you can see that at all.
Yeah, I've zoomed in onto the screen to see it. Bloody hell, that's a car crash of a team.
Are any of them still playing for you?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there was three or four that were on loan. Joe Day obviously is our main goalkeeper still. He moved to Cardiff and then come back to us last season. Hornby Forbes was on loan from Brighton, I believe. Fraser Franks unfortunately had to retire due to a heart condition at an early age, which is devastating. Mickey Demetrio is basically our vice captain at the moment. Vasha Newfield is actually the man who got our penalty in the to win the game. Actually, quite funny enough. Scott Bennett starts for us week in, week out. Matty Dolan is actually the official club captain, but a bit like you when Wes Morgan was the club captain but didn't play. So Mickey Demetrio actually has the armband, but Dolan's the captain. Wilmot still plays, and then Semenyo is at Bristol City. Jamil Matt is at Forest Green, and Podrigamond is in non-league, I think, now.
So there's still quite a few. I mean, because looking at our side, Danny Ward's obviously might be playing. Whether he'll put Everson in, he might do. He might put Everson in. But, Johnny Evans, I think, will come back for this game because he didn't play at the weekend. And they'll probably ease him back into this. I could see possibly Mark Albrighton starting and even Kelechi Iheanacho. So it's
the same sort of mix, and I think 3 or 4 of our players there might start. I think he may start Scott Bennett in midfield, and he'll probably start Robbie Wilmot and maybe Demetrio, and Joe Day potentially. So again, the 2 lineups, even though it's 3 years ago, still a few that may start.
Indeed. I have to ask the question because I have heard this, and I sort of don't know sort of how true it is or not, but apparently Tyler Hornby is very good at training.
Oh. Do you know what? It's a Newport Leicester preview. We may not play each other for a long, long time. I'll give you that one, Chris.
Looking down there, that's the only one I could come up with. I know how sad am I. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Let's just go through a few comments. People have been adding their comments in here. Where was the last one? Papa John's, I wouldn't mind having a pizza.
Actually, there's a funny thing about that. Every Papa John's game from this point on, because they trialled it for game week 3 of the group stage, they do a little penalty shootout at halftime, and the winner gets a year's supply of Papa John's pizzas, which I actually find a bit cringy and a bit.
Well, I don't know. I'd have it.
I'd have it if I win it, yeah, but I just find it.
But and that, in fairness, Andrew, that joke is worse than mine. A pizza, that trophy. Yeah,
I know what.
Let's move on quickly. Luke is in. Big up, gents, your legends. Come on, Newport. Let's have a massive upset with a few others. Love the less rich, smaller club. What, like Forest? I suppose that's fair enough. No wonder you do love the smaller clubs. Have success. It's beautiful to see in the Energy Drink Cup, as I like to refer to it. We thought that last year in the FA Cup. We thought, let Nottingham Forest, a small provincial town, have their moment in the spotlight and go through to the next round, Luke. I couldn't agree with you more. Bradders is in. Is Mike ready for our revenge meeting on Tuesday?
No.
No, you're coming to the power, mate. You're coming to the king power.
We went to the riverside. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Marco Brighton gave away the penalty in that game. Gazelle scored the equaliser. That's probably why you don't remember it. Marco Brighton was a right back. If you see Marco Brighton being played in the right back, put some money on you getting a penalty. Because you always will. True Red, just a shame, Mike, it's not the FA Cup, because Newport would progress easily. Leicester turn to shite, as recent history will tell you. Yeah. When was the last time you won it, Luke? When was the last time you won it?
Got the FA Cup draw tomorrow evening, so I'm going to be excited to see who we get in that. Obviously, everyone wants Wrexham to knock them out, but it's going to be interesting to see who we get in that. I just want to get to the third round, so I just had a nice, easy second round.
Is this when this is the Premier League top clubs aren't in it? This is still the smaller clubs. So, Luke, tune in and see who you might get. Sean McGonnell says, "Come on, Leicester, beat Newport." I'm sure he must be a Newport fan.
Yeah, he's a Bristol City fan. So.
Oh, is he? Oh,
yeah.
Bristol City. The club that's sponsored by the Wurzels. I mean, there's only one thing worse than that would be Wimbledon being sponsored by the Wombles, wouldn't it?
Well, the way they played against Weymouth on Saturday evening. Yeah, yesterday evening was.
Everybody, Sean, you're welcome. Thanks a lot for joining us. I mean, I did say, you've got a new manager. We wanted a new manager. We've still got our old manager who, despite being the favourite to be sacked at the start of the year, 39 managers later is still in charge. We're both on a bit of form, aren't we? I mean, I would have liked to have played you earlier in the season. I'm not going to be honest, because let's face it, it's a potential banana skin. It's there. We probably will put out not our first choice team. You would hope that we would have enough with the players that we've got to still beat you, but you've proved last time that upsets happen. I'm a bit more worried than I would have been playing you a month ago.
Yeah, I'd emphasise the exact same thoughts. So many times in the last, not in the last 2 weeks because of the form that has been in Leicester, but definitely when the draw was made, every live stream I said I wish we were playing you now because you're conceding goal after goal. The 5-2 at Brighton. I think the 5-2 at Brighton, the whatever it was against against Tottenham. just conceding goals for
6-2 against Tottenham. Yeah, thanks for mentioning those, Mike. You're a buddy.
And I was like, yeah, give me Leicester now. I want to have them now. But Maddison is coming into form. He may not start, but it oozes threat to the club. And you just seem to be in a really good space at the moment. So yeah, I am a lot more. I wouldn't say I'm worried, but a lot more worried than what I was a month or so ago.
And in fairness, I feel a lot more confident than I did sort of a month ago, because we were up until the Forest game. We were bloody awful. We were shipping goals left, right, and centre. We've got this new set piece coach, Lars Kunsden, or however you pronounce it, who seems to have absolutely turned our season round. And yeah, I feel a lot more confident. But of course, I can see a lot of changes coming on. And I think also, and we have to take this into account, is that the World Cup's coming up. So if players are on the fringe, and it's not going to be announced till Thursday, the squad, but are they going to think, I'm not going to go in for that tackle?
It depends, because one thing you could look at it at that point of view, and you could also look at it at the other point of that, the other spin of that coin. And you could say, well, if I'm going in for these tackles, the manager can see that I know the World Cup's around the corner, but I'm still giving my all for the club, which I think that would ooze a lot of, confidence and, belief in a player. If there's a 50-50 ball and, for example, James Maddison goes flying in to win the ball for Leicester, that shows Gareth Southgate, look, he knows there's a World Cup 2 weeks away, but he's still so determined to put the effort in for Leicester to win on that specific day. Because a lot of people, there's a few players that you can see have checked out for the World Cup at their club. So evidential to see. But players like Maddison, Tielemans on Saturday, they were, going in for 50-50 tackles, which a lot of players at this point in, the season before the World Cup will just sort of lean away. Like you said, I'm not going to go in for that because I don't want to injure myself. But I think will actually give them a lot more confidence. They'll, make the respective squads for their country if they're putting more of an effort in.
Yeah. Luke said here, yes, this is a small club that got to the Premier League. Let's not forget. But as I said, we waited for you. We waited and we waited and we waited. When I started waiting for you to get to the Premier League, I was 19. I'm 60 odd now, mate. It's been a long wait. It's been a long wait. Sean says it's a tough game for Newport. I do think you will score a goal. I'm just looking in the last round. And when you look at how we played in the last round, yes, it was a different Leicester then. But that 0-0 against Stockport, we have got to raise our game above that. And I'm not disrespecting Newport here, but you're looking at a Premier League club that is in the throes of having a bit of a turnaround. You are then looking at, a club that's sort of 4 divisions or 3 divisions below us. You would hope but like I say, it's a cup game. But looking at that 0-0, you got to be, you were so confident. Oh, because we joked about getting each other, didn't we, in the draw?
Yeah. Well, when we drew each other, I think we were both absolutely in pathetic form. I think I can't remember the exact date, but of who you were lost against at that point. I don't want to say it, but at that point we were losing every week, both of us. But I was looking at.
We just lost to. Well, in fairness, it was our 4th game of the season. We'd been 2-0 up against Brentford, and they drew 2-2. Arsenal put 4 past us. Southampton came back from being 1-0 down and beat us 2-1. And then we went to say Stockport and almost made a pig's ear of it.
Yeah, I think at that point, we started off at Sutton and we were very good at Sutton. Then we had 2 awful games against Walsall and Bradford back to back, and then the cup game, that Luton game, just basically bailed us out. And then obviously we were in bad form going to Portsmouth. And I said, this is where we exit. I think Portsmouth are just a ridiculously good side for League One. Probably one of the best teams in League One, League Two, respective. And I said, yeah, I think this is where we get knocked out. And we just performed again. So, yeah, when we looked at the draw, I did generally say it could be, does anyone want it sort of thing. We could be there till midnight trying to decide a winner.
Yeah. Hepstar Chris, well, with a name like Chris, mate, I can't have a go at you. Come on, Newport or League Two, your youth should win. I mean, like you say, yes, on paper, but it's a funny old season this season. Dan is in the house. He says, since home and away films, Harry and Marv have changed a lot. 2 words to you, Dan. Sheffield United. No, just leave that there. I will leave that there for you, mate. What was it? You were 1-0 up and you lost 5-2?
2-1 up as well, Chris.
Sorry?
They were 2-1 up as well.
2-1. Well, I mean, Blackburn are coming next weekend. Oh, hide behind your sofa, Dan. Hide behind your sofa.
Mini Dan.
Did he, Dan? Indeed.
Dan.
It's like the start of Saturday night. Did he, Dan? You sat there at the moment in 18th in League Two. How many games? You played 17. How many games has your new manager been in for?
He's been in for 4. So he came in 2 weeks ago for the Colchester United game. Yeah, Sean. I might need them on the train on the coach journey home potentially. But he came in for, funny enough, he came in for Colchester in the league, and we won that 1-0. Then we went to third place Mansfield, and got a 0-0 draw. Then we went to third place Northampton and got a 1-1 draw, and then we beat Colchester in the FA Cup on Saturday 2-0. So 4 games in charge, 2 wins, 2 draws, 0 defeats at the moment for Graham Coughlin.
And I believe, and I could be wrong here, I'm old and my memory goes, you weren't that keen on him signing for you.
When he came in, because every time I make a video on Newport, I do get quite a few, rival fans, or not rival fans, but, fans of League Two come in and give their thoughts. And a couple of them messaged me and said that, he's a good manager, but he's not exciting. He will just grind out results. And when I was getting told that, I was like, actually, let's look back. We need someone to grind out results, because we're at the time we were in a relegation battle. We were about to go down, I thought, if we kept Raybury, but we stuck by the board to get someone in who's he's kept Mansfield and Bristol Rovers up in his last 2 jobs from relegation. So that was the main to stay up.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's all about staying up and then moving on. Dan's off to watch I'm a Celebrity. Apparently he's looking forward to having a penis down his mouth. Well, Dan, we've known that for a long time, mate.
He hasn't changed. He hasn't changed since the 5-2.
No. He's a bitter man. He's a bitter man. You enjoy your penis, Dan. What can I say? So you're going to stay. I mean, you're 4 points clear now of Hartlepool. Teams below you, though, have got a game in hand. You're a bit like Leicester. You're up in 18th, and you look at that and think, you're like, well, I'll take that. But you're actually only 4 points off the relegation zone.
Yeah, I think that the problem is in League Two, when it's such a horrible league to be in, because you could drop points and then, for example, we could go and win a game and then Crawley will beat Gillingham, or Harrogate will beat Rochdale. So it always counteracts each other. Just looking at that form, 2 draws and a win in our last 3 games. We're only, like you said, 4 points off the relegation zone. But if you flip that, we're also only 7 points off the top half. So, there's definitely progression, and the form of everyone else, we've probably got one of the best forms in that, 16th to 24th region.
Yes, yeah. Sean says here, Mike, do you think you'll lose to Leicester?
I'm presuming we'll get onto score predictions very shortly, but I don't think we will, personally. We will come on to predictions,
but I can see it going to penalties again. Simply because
I don't think we'll win it in 90. I don't think.
No, and in fairness, I joke about it, but let's be honest with you, it is a big game for you. For me, if we lose this, yeah, okay, we don't want to lose it to a, no disrespect, a League Two side, but if we lose it, we've got bigger fish to fry in trying to stay in the Premier League, you know, and we're in exactly the same position that you are, you know. I mean, you look at us there, and you know we are sat in 14th, but literally 2 points above the bottom three.
But then also just like us, you're also only, you know, a few points off the top half. It's just an awkward situation to be in because, yes, like no disrespect to us, but yes, it is a big game for us. And I think we've sold over 1,000 tickets, maybe a bit more. And it is a big game. I'm not saying that because, you know, we're little and you're big, but, you know, we could be in the fourth round of the cup. So it is a big game. But also the fact that if we do lose, I will be like, look, it's at Leicester. They've had some good form. Let's stay in. Well, we've got the FA Cup and the Papa Johns to fall on. We're in free competitions and the league. So, you know, I didn't expect us to still be in the Carabao Cup at this point of the season. And I didn't expect us to well, when I saw it was Colchester, I expected us to beat them because Colchester are pretty dross, if I'm honest.
And I mean, as I say, if we do beat you, don't even imagine for a moment that you're not going to get lots of messages off me.
I think my phone might die on the coach home, Chris. I think.
Yeah. Oh no, I can. It not necessarily on the night. It could be a day on 2 days and 3 days later.
The thing is, I can't even say that my phone would be died because I have to upload the vlog, so I can't even use that excuse.
Indeed. But Luke says here, to be honest, it's just amazing what can happen to a club. Leicester with the set-piece coach has transformed the fortunes round and like a managerial change. I mean, when you look at us there, 23 goals scored, more than anybody in the bottom half of the league. So you've got to worry about that a little bit. But then you've got to look at the fact, well, we've conceded 25. There's only 2 clubs that have conceded more. And one of those is Bournemouth, who let in 9 in one game. But in the last, well, since we beat Forest 4-0, Luke, just in case you forgot. Since that happened, I think we've only conceded 2 goals. So we've tightened it up at the back, but it's just going to go out the window because you know that it is probably going to be a changed team.
That's what I said. If it is a changed team from Leicester, I'll fancy myself that we can get the winner even more. Like I said, I'm never going to go into a game and not back Newport to win it. Just
of course, you wouldn't. No,
but and obviously because I'm travelling all the way up there, I don't want to go and say, oh yeah, Leicester will win 3-1 and even annoy myself even more. But it's going to be one of those where if Leicester put a rotated squad out, it gives you that bit of optimism. Exactly what happened when we played you in the FA Cup. Me and my friends looked at the team as like, yeah, we can beat this Leicester team. This Leicester team is beatable. And I believe that your rotated side is beatable. You know, I know what type of players could be in your rotated side. Daniel Everson, you know, players like that. I generally could see.
Jamie Vardy. He didn't play at the weekend. He only came on for the last 20 minutes.
Oh, that's enough. Rebecca won't let him play anymore. You know.
I've got to be honest with you, mate. He will be starting. I will put. If I had a fiver, I would put a fiver on him starting because him and Daka. It is the changing of the guard, and eventually Vardy will move on. But he will be starting, and maybe on 70 minutes when he's a bit knackered. It would be Daka that comes on and he'll go off. Does that worry you, the fact that or do you look at Vardy and think he's past it now?
Well, I came on one of your I think it was one of your debate shows before, and you were talking about Vardy and the change of guard, and I actually said then that I think I'd be, as an opposition, I'd be 10 times more worried seeing Patson Daka or Kelechi Iheanacho even line up against me than Jamie Vardy, because Jamie Vardy at the moment seems like he's turned into basically one-dimensional, which is, you know, pace. And if you've got pace in your back line to, you know, come up against that, then, you know, he's not really going to offer much more other than accelerating away. And we've got quite a quick back line, to be honest. Well, not rapid, but for centre backs, they're no slouches for a centre back.
Scott says there, Chris, can you see Vestergaard alongside Evans in this game? I think Evans will come back, and I think this is the game, again, no disrespect, but the game that he will bring him back in, because it shouldn't be as hard as, he should be getting an easier ride maybe than he would have against Everton. Vestergaard, when we played, to be honest with you, alongside Soyuncu, they restricted Stockport to 4 shots on our goal. So, yes, he actually had a good game. Sean, so next time, if Newport get through, mate, you won't see me for dust. But if we ever play Newport again, we'll get you on, bud. Leicester will no doubt rotate, because no disrespect to these clubs in the competition as a whole, but the league is the main priority. It is, and we've got to stay in the league. And do you see, I mean, you're in all the cups still, obviously, like you said, but do you see for you the league, staying in that league's got to be your main priority, hasn't it?
Yeah, not just financially, but we're looking at how solid the National League is getting. We saw that Chesterfield knocked out Northampton in the FA Cup on Saturday. That's a National League team beating a League Two team. We saw Chippenham beat Lincoln. So the quality of that league is is getting better. If we were to go down, I don't think we will, but if we would, I think there could be a long way to get back in it, as Wrexham have saw, which I continue to tell them.
Yeah, and there's some big clubs down in that National League now, isn't there? It's you've got to give. It's almost like a 5th tier, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's an all-professional league now, Chris. Every single team is professional, and even when you go further down that, if you haven't got money, you sort of get left behind a little bit in the non-league now.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, I think Jamie Vardy will be starting, possibly Everson. After that, I've no idea, but I have a feeling.
Johnny Evans.
Johnny Evans probably, yeah. But I have a feeling you are going to see the likes of. You might see Pratt start instead of Tielemans. You might see Mendy start instead of Sumare. But you know that bench, we're going to be filling that bench with Maddison, with Tielemans, just in case we need to bring them on.
Yeah, that's the worry, isn't it? I mean, that you can look at a starting 11 and get worried or feel optimistic, but when you see Patson Daka, Yuri Tielemans, James Maddison, Harvey Barnes on a bench, it's like, right, okay, let's try and be 3 or 4-0 up by the time those guys get on the pitch and give us some.
Hopefully, he won't leave it that long. But yeah, I mean, you've got Jamie Vardy, and he's only got 1 goal this season. Again, like this, and again, not disrespecting you, but if he can get a couple, might just kickstart his season. But who should Leicester be worried about from your side?
I think for us offensively, I'd say Omar Bogle, top goal scorer this season, 8 goals to his name, scored all type of goals so far, scored penalties, scored a couple of headers, so he's definitely deadly in that area. And then in the midfield, I think Nathan Mariah-Welsh, on loan from Bournemouth, has been unbelievable. He came in to a team that was absolutely struggling, came in on his debut and scored a goal and an assist to as if to say, look, I may be 19, 20, but I'm performing a lot better than a lot of your players are. So I'd say Omar Bogle, Nathan Mariah-Welsh, and the captain Mickey Dimitrov for the day as well, because I know he's a captain and it's a cliche, but he doesn't put anything less than a 6 or 7 out of 10 every single game. Yeah. So those are the 3 main ones.
Put yourself into, I don't know Coughlin's first name. Is it Steve?
Graham Coughlin.
Graham Coughlin. Put yourself in his shoes for a moment. Do you?
They're quite good, Chris, his shoes.
Spray them first, Do you put a strong team out? You know that Leicester are going to rotate. If you can maybe get an early goal, it could maybe turn the crowd a little bit. If you've got that goal and then, start putting players behind the ball, we could find it hard to break you down. So do you go for a full strength side for this game, or do you make changes as well?
it's difficult to say for what Coughlin would do first. I'll look at that aspect and then I'll go with what I would do. Because when James Raybury was in charge, the team that he played in the league game before the Luton game was, I think, 8 or 9 different players. So he put a completely rotated side against Luton and we still won that game. But whereas Graham Coughlin used the same team in the FA Cup on Saturday as he did for the previous 3 league games. So I think Coughlin is the type of manager that will put his strongest team out, and then if we're 1 or 2 up, then he can take them off, rather than, because you basically you put yourself in a position where you've got potentially 5 players to bring on to try and change the game, or you can have 11 players to change the game and then take the 5 off that have had a good game and to rest them. So personally, I think it'll be a full strength team. Personally,
well, that could be interesting.
Same starting 11 for all 4 games this season, so it's interesting.
It's your best chance, isn't it? In fairness, because it's the, and I for me, when we're down where we are, and they always say, well, are the cups a distraction or are they a welcome diversion? But it's the confidence that the wins give you. Whatever competition the wins come in, it gives you it gives you that, it gives you that confidence, doesn't it? Sean did ask earlier, by the way, sorry, Mike Green, when are you uploading? I don't know if that's a Welsh euphemism or anything. But...
Sean, yeah. I will in the vlog on the I don't know, it depends what the internet's like in Leicester. I'm not too sure what it's like in that part of the country, but I'm only joking, Chris. I'm only joking. But
when you're in the stadium, I've had Orange, I've had O2. You can't get a signal in the stadium at all. So good luck in the stadium, but outside you will be fine. It'll
probably be. I'm not too sure what time these games kick off. I'm very. I always ask my mum what time does it end, because I'm not really good at trying to think of the time. But I think the vlog will be at around 10 o'clock, 10:30, something like that.
Unless, of course, you lose really heavily, when we'll just never see him again.
Well, I did say the only time I would not upload a vlog is if we played Cardiff and lost to them. I've already said that. I said if we ever play Cardiff and lose to them, you can forget seeing a vlog on the channel. There'd be no way.
There you go. Just comparing our seasons there. We've had 3 wins. I mean, obviously we played almost as many games as you. You've lost 9 so far this season, but we've lost 8. And the goals, let's say we've scored 21, you've scored 15, 20 conceded. Is the defence a problem for you?
I would have said yes, but when Coughlin has come in, he's completely changed that, because he's I would say a defensive, pragmatic manager, but that's what he is. That's how he's got results. Since he's come in, we beat Colchester 1-0, drew 0-0 with Mansfield, drew 1-1 with Northampton, and beat Colchester 2-0. So in his 4 games in charge, we've only conceded 1 goal. So I think that stat does obviously heavily rely on the James Raybury stats of the season. So I'd say that there's no defensive worries at the moment anyway. Obviously, we could do
the same with us. We conceded most of those before the Forest game, and then since then, like I say, we've only conceded 2 goals.
The problem with us, we have had a mix of Carabao Cup, FA Cup results. Obviously, everyone knows the great results that Newport have had in the Cups, beating Leeds, Leicester and Middlesbrough, but we've also been stuffed by Southampton 8-0, so it could even go that way. So
Did you beat Leicester? Oh, you've never mentioned that.
I never mentioned that we beat Leicester. Yeah, it was 2019, I think.
Jackie Ray mentions it every fucking time he talks to me. I'll tell you. Now, I am looking for this, and I'm thinking, if I was Brendan, I would look at that and go, right, after the second half starts, we go 10 up front, because that is when you concede most. Well, I would tend to say over half your goals are conceded in the 45th to 60th minute.
Yeah, it's so annoying as well, because, a lot, if you look at that graph, and I would have told you anyway, without looking at the graph, we score a lot more in the first half than we concede. A lot of our goals come in the second half that we concede. And normally in games we could be 1-0 up at half time, and people around me are like, yeah, this is, well, at the start of the season, this is where we get the win, this is where we win. And then out comes the second half, the players just drop their heads, the opposition score 2 goals, and we just can't get back into the game. And the worrying thing for me is that we don't score that many towards the end of a game. That's why I'd want to score in that peak time of the first half an hour, which gives us more of a chance of getting something from the game.
But again, I mean, let's say, looking at you concede most 45 to 60. We concede most 60 to 75, or we were doing.
And we don't score in that time, so
you don't know. It's going to be 4-4 at half time, and then no goals in the second half.
But I know even Leicester have been in front in a few games or level in a few games, and then just imploded in the second half. So.
Usually, if you notice, 60 minutes is when we start conceding, and that's usually when Brendan Rodgers makes his substitute. So, I've seen your question, Sean. I'll come to it in a second. And then, if we just compare the seasons, they're not. As I say, we've got to take the fact that, of course, we're looking at 2 different divisions. But Paul, let me put my teeth in and try that again. Just going to make this a bit bigger so I can actually see it. So ball possession, 50 to us, 44 to you. You've actually had more attacks than us. Offside doesn't really matter. Shots on target now, 55 to us, 21 to you. Are you not looking at that and thinking, 17 games and you've probably just had over 1 shot a game on target?
Yeah, let's just say, Chris, a lot of Newport fans are looking at that and getting a bit bloody pissed off. Sorry to use my language.
Yes. No, that's all right. It's a Welsh word, that, if anybody's watching. It's a Welsh word.
us Welsh use that. Actually, we'll not go there. We won't go there. But you look at that, and from my observation of watching the season, what tends to happen is we get to the edge of the box and we're trying to pass the ball into the into the goal. It's like you're not going to get success with that. We saw Leicester at the weekend just giving it a good old whack outside the box. Sometimes does it, and I would say if we would have put even 20, 30 of those shots off target on target, we'd be in a much better position. I'm sad enough to remember some of the games where we should have won. And we haven't. But it's if buts and maybes, but we just tend.
Can I just say, and I think looking at that if you are a Leicester fan and you were going to the match and you were sat behind the goal, take some protection, because looking at that, you are going to be peppered with shots from Newport. Got 160.
What we don't do, it sounds so basic but so stupid of our strikers. We get to the edge of the box and we either shoot it and think that we're gonna, hit row Z and it bounce off the seat and go in the back of the net that way, or we just don't take a shot, and it's just irritating to watch. It really is.
And the other one on there, I mean, 47 corners we've had, but I want to just take to the point, because we have had, like I say, this new Danish set piece coach who is working for the American national team at the moment, Lars Nusden. He came in having had a few visa problems. His first game was a 6-2 drubbing that we got at the hands of Tottenham, and he was sat there with his head in his hands, and I think he probably dropped it. But since then, he has we have. I mean, there was a game last season, and the commentator said, "Oh, they've got a corner, the opposition." It's bad news for Leicester, because every time they concede a corner, they concede a goal. Too literally, the words had not stopped coming out of his mouth, and the opposition scored. We were so awful at corners. But I was going to say, in the last 3 games, now this is against Wolves, Manchester City, and Everton. We have conceded 27 corners in those 3 games, and we haven't conceded a goal. So fingers crossed. I am going to be honest with you, though. I am going to be a little bit worried if Everson is in goal. I think he will start, but I am going to be worried.
The thing is with our corners, like you look at 67 of them, but I would say only half of them actually make it to the box. because we always seem to put the wrong bloody person to take the corners, and then they either can't get enough elevation on the cross to actually get into a dangerous area, or they bloody play it short. 1-0 down away from home, and we bloody play short corners.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, average player rating, we're 6.79, you're 6.7. So, that's pretty even. Anthony's in. Big up, Anthony. How are you?
And we're a feisty team as well. We like to put a good fair few tackles in, as you saw on that little graphic there.
Yeah. Yes, you do. 26 yellows and 1 red. You dirty buggers.
That red card was never a red card. That's what I will say.
Yeah. Okay. Sean Gowlinick was a Leicester fan, really.
Did take the mick out of him for that.
Yes. The shots worrying me for Newport. Mike 21 on target, 169 off. That is like I say, just take your American football gear if you're going to sit behind the goals. Sean actually says here, funny enough, with Anthony coming in, Chris, do you like Nigel Pearson in the Bristol City shirt? Look, Nigel Pearson was a god for us.
Brilliantly for I must say.
Yeah, he we would not have won the Premier League when we did without what he had done the season before. And he wasn't very good with the press. We know that, with the old ostrich and all that. But when you spoke to him, as I did a couple of times with my son, he was the nicest guy. He made Sky wait while he was talking to my son. He was just so nice. And I just hope he has great success wherever he goes. I know he's had health problems. So I'm really, really good. I really, really like him. Sorry, I should say. Sean, hi, Anthony, my Bristol City fan. Leicester will win against Newport. I mean, it's Newport. Oh, I never said that, Mike.
I don't know if Bristol City is still in the competition, Anthony. You'll have to let me know. Watch now, they bloody are. I've made myself look like a right knobhead, but
well, I'm sure he supports that many teams because obviously he lives in Bristol.
He's probably got enough teams in the draw to say no, Southampton are in it or no, Arsenal are in it. So don't worry, one of them will.
Yeah. But, Anthony, and let's be honest with you, I have heard a rumour that, if he's really desperate, he actually clings on to Bristol Rovers.
That's what a lot of them do. That's what a lot of them do, and I know Anthony is the same.
Yeah, well done, Anthony. Right, let's go for it. Score predictions, and I know it's hard. It's going to be hard for me because I don't know what team is going to be putting out, but I'll let you go first.
Thank you ever so much for letting me go first and letting me myself by predicting a Newport win. No, I think, you look at it, I'm going to base it off it being a Leicester rotated side, I think. I think if you would have lost to Everton on the weekend, maybe you might have actually put a stronger side in to try and build some confidence, but, the team's already confident as it is. The penultimate game before the World Cup, and I believe you're home the game before the World Cup. But this is going to be a chance to play again in front of the KP before the World Cup, and it may be someone's last game before the World Cup, like Vardy potentially. Yeah. He might not play in the league game, or someone like that. So it is going to be an interesting one. Obviously, I'm not going to go there not confident. We're in form. I know you're in form in a better league, but I am I'm not a bit confident. I am quite confident. I don't think we'll win in 90. I don't think we will win in 90. I think it'll be a stretch to do that. I'm actually going to say 1-1 after 90 minutes. But I do think we'll beat you on penalties.
Right. Well, of course, last time we came out and we played Stockport County in this cup, it was 0-0 at full time, and Daniel Everson, who was in goal, did actually save 2 penalties. So if it does go to penalties and Everson's in goal, I'll be reasonably confident.
I'll have to message Danny Ward and say, from one Welshman to another, can you let the new...
Oh, we won't like him when he comes to the World Cup. We love him now. We won't like him when it comes to the World Cup.
I'll bloody hate him on Tuesday night if he does something to knock us out. I'm like, bloody hell, Danny Ward, you idiot.
I think he will actually. It will be Everson that starts. Albrighton, Soyuncu, Vestergaard, Thomas was our back four. I think Evans will be in for Soyuncu. I think Thomas will start and possibly Albrighton. It was Mendy, Tielemans, Pratt and Barnes with Inacho at the front of the midfield there. I can see, well, Pratt's wife's just had a baby, so they've just had a little baby, Pratt.
Congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Pratt.
Indeed. Mendy, I think, could start. I don't think Tielemans will. To be honest with you.
I know it sounds stupid. I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'd actually like to see a couple of the main players play just to see them in the flesh. Yeah. But I've seen Yuri Tielemans play about 3 or 4 times for Belgium against Wales. It's getting a bit sick.
No, it's true. But yeah, no, I get that totally. I totally get that. Barnes, whether he'll start or not, and Daka up front. So I'm going to go. Do you know what? I'm not confident. It's at Leicester, Anthony. It's at Leicester. Sean, Bristol City is my football family. Anyway, Anthony's gone 9-0 Leicester. I'll take that. But I think, if I'm honest, I'm not. Oh, look, it's a banana skin game for us. And it really, really is. We know we're going to be rotated. You're going to be up for it as you really, really should be. There's no extra time. There's no replays. I think it could be another 0-0 at full time and goes to penalties.
Let me guess. Leicester to win on penalties.
Yeah, of course. You wouldn't expect me to say anything else, But I just think you will take us all the way to the 90 minutes.
I think we've got to the way we win the game is if we can manage the game well. I think Graham Coughlin said when he first came in that one of his main sort of philosophies is manage a game in 15-minute segments. If you can pass the first 15 minutes well without conceding and maybe grabbing a goal, then move on to the next 15 and just take it in little segments, because obviously you're Leicester City, the pitch is a lot bigger than what we're playing week in, week out. The crowd, I know it won't be a full King Power, but it'll still be a lot more than what we probably play in front of. Yeah. So it'll manage the game correctly, I think.
And if you do go 1-up and we can't get back in, or you do hold us, stop us scoring for a length of time, the crowd could turn that way at the moment. Luke it's at the Walker's Crisp Stadium. Luke, that's coming from the team that still hasn't got a shirt sponsor because nobody wants to sponsor Nottingham Forest. And what's your ground called? Oh yeah, shit. Turf is back. How was the penis stand? Did you enjoy it?
Watching the Sheffield United highlights. Thanks for coming.
He's got their Leicester Newport. At the end of the day, football is the winner, unlike Burnley, who weren't a winner. Come on, Dan. You're not going to say these things and not expect something back. George says up the Foxes. Chris, Newport struggled to pass it over the halfway line.
It's funny that Anthony got it past the goal line twice on Saturday.
Hey, look, mate, I'd wish you all the best, but I really wouldn't mean it. I'm not going to lie. And when they say make football be the winner, fuck off. I want Leicester to be the winner. You want Newport to be the winner. Let's hope it just doesn't get silly or dirty or anything like that. And the crowd are good. Have a safe journey, mate. That's the main thing. Get there and get back safely. No doubt, whichever one of us wins, we'll be messaging the other one like mad for the next few days after. And then we've got the World Cup rivalry to come.
Even if you win, you'll probably if you win and we've played awful, you'll probably still get me messaging you saying, "Oh, that was bloody embarrassing, absolute shambles," something like that. But one thing I'm not looking forward to is the time I'll be getting home, the immortal time of about 2:00 in the morning.
Yes, and you will be messaging me at that time, knowing you'll be waking me up, you bastard. So I know what you're like.
If we win.
Oh yeah, if you win. Sean, up the Bristol City. Good luck for Bristol for the season. That's all I can say, Sean. Enjoy your match, Chris and Mike. Here we go. Anthony's really going for it here. Newport's new sponsor is Tampax. Going through a bad period, I heard.
We're 4 unbeaten, Anthony. Do your research, pal.
Oh dear!
Awful joke as well.
I tell you what, but at least it's not like it's not like Bristol City because they're sponsored by Inconsonant Knickers Company because they're always taking the piss. On that note, right, it's been a pleasure, sir. Like I say, I can't wish you luck, but I do wish you a safe journey there and get back in one piece. And we will talk after. I am absolutely sure.
Yeah, thanks for getting me on, Chris.
Brilliant. And we will speak during the World Cup because obviously we're going to have Wales versus England.
Oh God, I don't care what happens in any of the World Cup. Well, obviously I want us to get through and I want England to get knocked out. But if we lose that game, we better be already qualified for the last 16. Because if that game knocks us out of the World Cup, you will not hear from me for the rest of time. I'm sorry. You will not.
Say, I am, though, more confident about Leicester beating Newport than I am about England qualifying out the group for the World Cup. So I'm not going there because we are on such a sticky wicket with England at the moment. But hey, mate, all the best. Take care, and we will speak soon, no doubt.
Hope you enjoy my vlog if we win, by the way.
I've no doubt you'll send it to me.
Yes, I will. Thanks, Chris.
Hey, and don't forget, you are your fanny expert. Keep getting them for the quiz that's coming up. He knows his fanny, does Mike. On that note, good night, sir.
Speak to you in a bit. Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
Cheers. Oh, it's a private joke that it was about Rod Fanny, a football player, before anybody thinks it's anything else. Look, we've got a few shows coming up this week. It's a little bit different because we have got the match on Tuesday. I dragged that out, didn't I? Tuesday. Tomorrow, we've got the EPL review as normal with Lou and our new co-presenter on that one, David. And then we're going to have this at 9 o'clock. Football fans, the rivals. Yep, we're going to have a Leicester fan and Nottingham Forest fan. And we're probably just going to spend an hour taking the piss out of each other's team. Some more than others, of course, because one of those two teams is at the bottom and one isn't. On Tuesday, you'll find me on Doug's channel at 6 o'clock, previewing the before-mentioned World Cup group and doing the watch-along Leicester versus Newport. Prediction show Wednesday at 9 this week because we're playing on the Tuesday. And then England squad shows, West Ham previews, all up towards the end. And then it's the World Cup. Can you believe it? And I apologise. I must apologise to Mike because I didn't give him a chance to read his socials out. I don't know if Mike's still watching. His social is in the description below. He is a mod on my channel, so his description is always in my in my YouTube description, even if he's not in. But do check it out. Mike Green TV. Newport, Manchester United. And if you like your darts, it's a great channel. It's a great channel. Mike Green TV. Get over there, give him a subscribe. And please subscribe to me. I'm at the 1500. Yes, there we go. Look at that. I'm happy. But we just need to make sure we can get a few more so that we don't fall below that for the World Cup. Thank you very much for joining us. So subscribe to this, smash the likes, Mike Green TV, subscribe to that as well. And I will see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock and then at 9 o'clock for the fan banter show. Take care, stay safe, and remember, guys, thanks for being in the chat. Thanks for listening if you're listening on the podcast. Remember, don't do anything I wouldn't enjoy.
It's time! Strap yourself.
I tell you what, I'll play the right video and then that might be organised. Not that I'm worried. Good night.
That's all, folks. Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
Leicester Till I Die TV.